Let's go. This card
Yeah, unbelievable.
for Dynamite and Rampage, and all this happening in one night. My God, if you're there in person.
Yeah, I know that
Jeez.
there's a legitimate point to it that AEW kind of builds their cards in the last week, like they kind of rush the show. I get it. I get that they kind of built this card over the last like 2 weeks and not a longer term.
Right.
But
still,
it's going to be so good. Like it is basically it's a pay-per-view, but it's not. Like it's a pay-per-view that just happens to be on television.
Yeah.
Like it could, if this was the card for All Out, you'd be like, yeah, that's a good show. Like you would like,
yeah,
it's at that level.
Me and you were texting back and forth. I think one of us said and the other agreed that it might actually be a better card than
I think it
All
might
Out.
be. Yeah. I mean, some of these matches might be better.
I mean, well, we're gonna start at the top. We get the finals on Dynamite Grand Slam now. We get the finals for the world title, which Mox versus Danielson. I don't care who wins this.
No.
Do we want to make predictions? Or
yeah, I think we should. Let's make predictions so we can see how wrong we are next week.
Okay, well then that means I have to care about this all of a sudden. Okay, well I'll say Danielson just because.
I'm gonna have to stay with Mox. I thought Mox was gonna be. I picked Mox from the beginning to win this, and I'm gonna stay with him. And especially because of MJF's promo on Wednesday, it seems like he's gearing up for a feud with Moxie. I mean, that could be a swerve. Like they could be trying to push the feud between, so you don't know who's going to win. But I think Mox is going to win.
And that's the sole reason that I picked Danielson, just to be different, because I think we're going to agree on.
And I wouldn't be upset if Danielson won. Like you said, it doesn't matter who wins the match. Like this is going to be a good match. I feel like there's not that many matches on the Dynamite version of Grand Slam, so I feel like this match is going to get a long time, and it could be one of the best matches of the year.
I agree. Have they ever wrestled each other one-on-one? Like when they did WWE?
They did when the Buffalo Combat Club formed. Remember, they had a match, and then Regal came out at the end.
Well, yeah, but I meant in WWE.
Oh, in WWE, one-on-one? I don't think so. I mean, Dean Ambrose was never positioned as like a main event type guy.
Yeah, that's true.
There,
okay.
So I feel like I know they had tag matches. Like the Shield was against Danielson and some other people, but if they did have a singles match, it wasn't like a big singles match.
Okay. So the big matches between them in singles competition has only been in AEW. That's
as far as I can recall. I'm sure I'm wrong, but someone on the internet will point this out, or I need Excalibur in my ear going, no, remember it was 2017 and it was an episode of Raw on a Wednesday in March. Why do you know?
Right? Yeah,
like it was a special episode. They aired it on Wednesday, and this is what happened. All right.
Yeah. Swerve in Our Glory versus the Acclaimed. I think we both agree it's going to be the Acclaimed.
Yeah, I think it's going to be the Acclaimed, and my only doubt here is, does Swerve turn on this show, or does Swerve turn like do something heelish but actually turn next week?
I think it'll be a post-match turn. I think the Acclaimed win, and then he like pushes Keith Lee or just hits Keith Lee. Maybe even the Acclaimed save Keith Lee. Like,
yeah, I was thinking he might not turn on this show because they want to keep the focus on the Acclaimed. But if they then save Keith Lee from Swerve, that keeps the focus on them, because this is clearly going to be their moment. This is going to be their big arrival on the world stage, as it may be.
Right. And
I think it might be like a Swerve walks out on Keith Lee, and then actually
that works.
Then they have some sort of interaction next week, but I don't know.
That works too. The interim women's title, we have Toni Storm versus Britt Baker versus Serena Deeb versus Athena. How do you see this one playing out?
I'm gonna say Serena Deeb wins. I think she wins because it's an interim title, so technically it doesn't have to count. And I think they're going to do a Toni Storm Serena Deeb feud, and Toni Storm might win it back. They could. My thinking is Serena Deeb wins, then they have some singles matches, and Toni Storm wins it back, and then Thunder Rosa will be ready whenever that happens. That's my thinking. I think Serena Deeb should win.
Okay,
she deserves it, and
I agree.
And they're positioning her as more of a threat than they have in recent times.
That is true. Okay, well, to play devil's advocate, I will say Toni Storm retains.
Yeah, those are the two options. It's not going to be Britt Baker or Athena.
I agree. Ring of Honor World Title match: Claudio versus Jericho.
I don't know about this one. It seems like it's going to be Claudio because they want to position him as like the face of ROH. But how big of a boost for ROH would it be if Chris Jericho was their champion?
Well, since you said that, and if we think they're going to announce a TV deal and he wins the belt that night.
Yeah, like I am thinking at some point. I mean, Tony Khan has teased an announcement, so it may not it may happen now, it may happen later, but ROH is going to get a TV deal, and wouldn't you? Just like they had Jericho as their champion when they got Dynamite, maybe they want Jericho as their champion when they launch whatever ROH's TV show is.
Yeah.
Now I think it might. When they first announced it, I was sure Claudio was going to win. This is just to give him a good match, but it might be Jericho.
I'm going to still say Claudio. Because
that makes a lot of sense.
Because he was the face, not the face, but he was a big time player in Ring of Honor. So
yeah. Oh, but Jericho could go to Ring of Honor and call himself a sports entertainer, and I feel like that would work even better against an ROH audience than it would against an AEW audience.
Oh my God, they might kill him. That's true. Wow, see that writes itself right there. So
I had very little interest in this before because I thought Claudio would but now I'm like very invested. Now I want to see it.
Yeah, well, right, that makes sense. The All Atlantic Championship, Pac versus Orange Cassidy. I think Pac has to win this.
Yeah, I agree, and I think they're gonna move to an Ethan Page feud, so that it should be Pac. It'll be a good match. I think Orange Cassidy's there to give him a good match for the title because it hasn't had that many big matches. So, but yeah, Pac wins.
Yeah. Okay. Then that was Dynamite. We're going to move on to Rampage, and we have the TBS title, Jade versus Diamante. I mean, it'd be awesome if Diamante.
Yeah, but I think there's no. I think there's no. Unless there's like something's gone horribly wrong. I can't see Jade losing. Like she's not going to lose like this. If she's going to lose, it's going to be a feud, not just like a one match thing.
Yeah, but something's up with this match. There's something.
She did say she was going to bring someone, didn't she? Diamante said she's going to bring someone from the 305. I don't know what the area code that is, but
New York, I believe. Like
she's from New York. In New York though? No, Miami-Dade County 305.
Oh, Miami. I'm not even right. Wow.
I know New York is 212. I know that. So who's from Miami?
I 1000% Diamante has been from New York for like the past 3 years. That's why I'm laughing right now because I'm just like, oh, that makes perfect sense for her to be there. Wow, okay.
No, she's from Miami.
No, she always reps a 305. But I 100%.
I would have said she's from New York just because she has like a similar gimmick to like Eddie Kingston or what's their names? How come I can't think of them now? Anyway,
Problem Powerful.
Yes, that's who I was thinking of. It's a similar gimmick. So they're all kind of New York. So I thought she would be, but so who's she going to bring?
I don't know.
Literally, if you Google wrestler from Miami, she comes up. Like if you search for women's wrestler from Miami, Diamante comes up.
That's amazing. Wow, I thought she was from New York. That's hilarious.
But I don't know who it would be. But she said she's going to bring someone. So
yeah,
I don't know enough about Miami wrestlers to know who this might be.
Well, I mean, who said it was a Miami wrestler? I mean, she could be bringing Stokely to the ring.
That's true. Might not be a wrestler.
That's a good one, because if it is a debut, this is taped, so it's obviously going to leak.
Right. So
I doubt it would be like, it's not going to be anybody new. It could be like, I guess, like a legend.
Yeah, it could be someone from like, from TNA or WCW, like someone who you would know, but it's not like a huge star.
Yeah, that's just there for like one night. But
yeah,
I still like.
It's not like Hulk Hogan.
Right.
From Miami, you never know.
Yeah, he's definitely from
somewhere in Florida, maybe Tampa. I don't know where he's from.
or I think Orlando. Actually, I think they all live down there.
Yeah, that's
like
true.
I remember watching like one of those Legends of Wrestling on the old WWE network when it was still on the internet. And I forget who it was. It was Michael P.S. Hayes was talking about there was a housing plan down there that like Hogan, Brutus Beefcake, the Macho Man, Michael Hayes, and like someone else lived in. Like, imagine if you lived there, how awesome that would be.
I remember when I was a kid, I think they announced Hogan and Savage from being from the same place, because now this makes sense. They lived in the same place. And I remember thinking, like, that's so weird that both of them live right near, like they're both from the same place, but like no, they just both moved there.
Right.
He was billed as Venice Beach, California, but he's from.
Oh, there you go. Oh, I forgot that they said he was from Venice Beach.
Yeah. I just know he's always with the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Are you serious?
Hogan's always at Tampa Bay Lightning games.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, that's he's amazing. Like, he was there for, not when they won the cup, but he was there for some other stuff.
That's amazing. Now I want to see a picture of Vincent LeCavalier, Hogan, and Marty St. Louis. And I don't know why. I just think that'd be the funniest picture ever. Anyways, we have, which this match could go so many different ways, and I can't wait to hear your opinion on it. We have the no DQ tag match. Sting and Darby versus House of Black.
I feel like something's going to happen here. I don't think it's going to be Sting turning, which is I've seen people suggest it would be cool, but I don't think Sting will be a heel at this point in his career. I think he's going to stay face.
Agreed.
But I feel like something will happen here. I don't know what though, because it's no DQ. I mean, they could do anything. So
right. It's
Also, in the notes, you called him Stink, which I really like.
Wow, that's amazing.
Which I think
autocorrect.
Which I love.
How does my phone not know that I'm talking about a wrestler?
I like because it just Stink and Darby, which I think is great.
That's amazing. Now, see, that's a total 80s gimmick.
The Stink.
I'm gonna bring
just like a guy who smells bad, and like no one wants to wrestle him because he smells so bad.
Right.
Yes. He would do like the Nasty Boys thing with the armpits.
That's what I was just gonna say. That's basically one of the Nasty Boys.
Yeah. I don't know what's gonna happen in this. I don't. I think a lot of these matches, like the Jade one, I feel like something's gonna happen, but I don't know what it is. Which I like. Like I think that's cool.
Yeah. It's your. I'm put the heat on you. Who do you think's winning this one?
I think House of Black, just because they've lost a lot. As far as I can tell, though, Sting hasn't lost a match in AEW, so that would be a big deal if he lost. But I think House of Black.
I think House of Black also.
Sting hasn't lost a match. Sting and Darby as a team haven't lost a match yet, so
I'm saying House of Black too.
Intrigue.
Yeah, there's a lot of intrigue there. A lot of intrigue on the next match here. Eddie versus Sammy.
Yes.
Normally going into an Eddie match, you get the promos, you get all that. They had their quote unquote real fight, which I don't think was real. But we're not getting the build that we should.
Yeah. But it's a little odd because I know they wanted to have it. I mean, they wanted to have it at All Out, right? And then didn't.
Right. But see, I don't think it needs the build.
No, I mean, Eddie's going to be over and Sammy's going to be hated. So that's kind of all. You don't need to make them more over and more hated necessarily.
And this,
and I feel like Eddie might do a promo on Dynamite because Dynamite's a shorter, like has fewer matches. So,
well, that's true. That is going to be the fight of the night. I literally think they're just going to beat the hell out of each other.
Yeah, and I think they'll, whether or not the fight they had backstage was real or not, they're going to
play it up.
They're going to play it up as like these guys really want to fight each other. They really like, it won't be a wrestling match. They're just going to fight, and it'll be fun to see. I really hope Eddie wins because it's in New York and he deserves that. And he lost to Jericho, and I want him to win. But how much would people hate Sammy if he won?
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. Yeah. I'm going with my heart on this one. I say Eddie takes.
I say Eddie too, just because AEW is not a heel company. I've heard people call the difference between WWE and AEW is WWE is a heel company. Like they build up their heels more than they do their faces. I think AEW is the opposite. They have a lot of faces and they build up their faces a lot more. And having Eddie lose in his hometown or his home area, I don't know if he's actually from Queens, but his home state, would be a WWE thing. Like if this was booked at WrestleMania, Sammy wins.
Oh, Sammy wins 1,000%. Yeah.
But it's an AEW show and Eddie deserves it. And I'm going to go with Eddie.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Eddie too. Samoa Joe Wardlow versus Neeson Woods.
Yeah, Samoa Joe and Wardlow. I mean,
I'll see. I've literally gone Neeson Woods.
Really? I think it's going to be Samoa Joe and Wardlow just because they, like I said, they're going to beat them and then be like, well, what do we do now? And just face each other.
I think they're gonna let Smart Mark and Tony Nese win on their home court.
That's true. I mean, they do.
That's the only.
Yeah.
that's the only thing. The friends and family are going to be there that night.
I could see that.
Josh Woods may be from like either the Philadelphia or maybe Jersey. He's close too.
He's born in Texas, but that doesn't mean he's actually from there. Hold on.
Well, you know where I'm getting that from? He wrestled in Ring of Honor, so a New York crowd would know him.
They would know him, definitely. Yes.
But then if we go by that, the next match, well, these matches aren't necessarily in order. They just we have Hook and Action Bronson versus 2.0. We already kind of talked about this, but I think we're going to agree that Hook and Action Bronson have to win.
Yeah, and this is going to be short. I mean, Action Bronson's not a wrestler, and Hook matches are short, so it's going to be short. And it's going to be like it's going to be good. 2.0 is going to do their best to bump around. It's going to be great, but it'll be fast. This is to like pop. I wouldn't be surprised if this like opened the show because it's a long show. This if it's taped, it'll be taped, so it's going to be following Moxley Danielson. The crowd might be kind of tired at this point. I feel like this will get people back into the show.
Yeah, the lights go out and then Action Bronson.
Yeah,
like his music, which is actually Hook's music, hits.
Yeah.
Well, I just thought of that. Do you think he plays them out?
I just thought of that too. Will he do his own theme? Yeah, I think he will. I think he'll like rap his own entrance theme. Yeah.
That really would get the crowd into it too.
Yeah.
What you just said. So yeah. They're going to be the hype men for this show for sure.
Yeah.
Initially, it said Ray Phoenix versus Jack Perry, which I was so happy that AEW was doing it, but then they changed it back to Jungle Boy after I went back to the website.
I feel like they're going back and forth on that. Like they will call him, I think it was, I forget if it was this week. I think it was this week. They were calling him Jack Perry. And then his graphic when he came out said Jungle Boy. So I feel like they're going back and forth on what to call him. I like what JR does. Like Jungle Jack Perry works for me.
Jungle Boy Jack Perry, yeah, it's great. Calls him every day.
Yeah, it works. It works for me. And he could easily drop the boy as he gets older.
Right. I have a theory on this match, so
right.
I'll go to you. Well, I'll go to you first. Who do you think's going to win?
I think Luchasaurus interferes and
that's my theory.
And Rey Fénix wins. I think that's it.
100% my theory.
Yeah. And not to like, or Luchasaurus interferes and like just beats, like it could be a no contest. Maybe he just comes out, like Kane. If he's going to be Kane from 1997. Maybe he just comes out and destroys both of them
before the match even starts. Right, just comes in and knocks.
I don't see AEW doing that because they pride themselves more on their wrestling matches. But maybe like towards the end of the match, he comes out and just crushes both of them. Maybe, I don't know.
That'd be very interesting. But I definitely think he interferes.
Yes, I agree.
I
know Christian's hurt, but I want him to come out and like cut a really bad, a really awful, like really mean promo in front of that crowd because they would react really well.
I really hope they do something like they put him in like, even though he's not in the hospital, like they put him in a hospital bed and he just like cuts the heel promo like, look at me.
That would be great.
You like,
yeah, that would be great.
This is why I hate you.
And for some reason, your mom, and just like,
yeah. Hobbs and Starks too. Again, I think we both agreed how this is going to go.
Yeah, I think this is where Ricky Starks gets his win.
Yeah, because we need the third match.
Right.
And
Ricky Starks gets a win, but maybe it's like a really dominant match by Hobbs, and then Starks pulls out a win, but then they have a rematch. Like Hobbs will say, I beat you up all match. So let's have another one, and they do something with a gimmick, like a no holds barred or a falls count anywhere or something.
Yeah. And then, I mean, there's not much more to talk about since we both agree on that. The last match, which, excuse the pun, is like the wild card of the entire. Like we know 4 of the 20 people that are going to be in it.
And it's interesting because I like how they spun it. Like MJF is the number one contender kind of whenever he wants to be. And this is for a match at a certain time. They didn't say when that time is, but.
Right. Yeah. It is,
they said like at a set date and time, which is weird that they didn't name when it would be, but that's fine. I mean, they could just say Dynamite in 2 weeks or whatever, right? And it would be 100%. Fine. Yeah.
I mean, I wish we knew who was. I mean, obviously they'll probably tell us on Dynamite.
Yeah, probably on Dynamite they'll tell you, but
like, I don't even know how it works. Like, is everybody in the ring at the same time? Is it like Royal Rumble style? Is it like how? Well, I know it's not like the casino where like there's the.
Yeah, it's not the suits. They called it a battle royal versus anything else. So battle royal would mean all in at the ring at the same time.
That's
typically
that's what I thought too. Now, where do you think? I mean, we already kind of figured out how the show is probably going to start with Action Bronson, but where do you put that on Rampage?
Yeah, this would be my other choice for starting the show because it's kind of like. It's kind of like a, big match, but it's not too big of a match. It's a lot of guys. Like it'll get the crowd interested. Maybe halfway through, like maybe the second hour of Rampage when it's getting late. And
I forgot this is 2 hours. So yes, it could, because
I mean, this is going to go
second hour
for the crowd. This is going to go till midnight, right? From 8 till midnight. So like by 11 o'clock, they're going to be tired. So maybe throw that in the second hour.
Yeah, it'll probably actually go later than that because
I think Eddie and Sammy might be the main event.
Eddie and Sammy are definitely the main event. Yeah, when I was at AEW though, I didn't get out of there till it was a little after 12 actually.
Yeah, so this is going to go a long time. So yeah, they need something to pump up the crowd.
And unless they're just doing a 4-hour show.
I feel like they'll just do a 4-hour show. I don't think they're going to do Dark and Elevation. That would be too much. Just my thinking. I think that's too many things.
I agree. Because that extra hour, like I would have definitely left.
Yeah.
Like my body could not take anymore. I couldn't talk. I screamed too much.
Yeah, they don't want they don't want a half empty building by the time Rampage is over.
Right. So but yeah, that's
I don't know who wins. My thinking, I don't know who's in it. Who are the four? Who are the four who are in it?
Hold on, it's on the graphic. Just start talking about something.
I think my initial thoughts are the person who wins this isn't going to win the title because I think MJF's going to be the next person who wins the title. Agreed. So my thought is this match is going to be more along the lines of it'll be the first challenge for the new champion. And
that's a good point.
And if that's how it's going to go, I think I want it to be Miro. I really do. I think Miro deserves a title shot. I think whether Danielson or Moxley wins the belt, Miro would be a great first opponent for either of them. But I don't know. My pick is Miro. I'm going to say Miro.
Okay, that's a good pick. Hold on. The internet's not working. Here we go. It has the poster has Lance Archer, Jay Lethal, Penta, and Hangman in it.
Yeah, Hangman's an option just because he's Hangman.
It's funny, like those are four of the most random people.
Yeah, that's very odd. That's an odd group there.
Like, who the hell are the other 16 going to be?
Yeah. Hangman's an option. Hangman's my second choice.
Hangman is definitely an option. This would be a good showing for, like, honestly, for Satnam Singh. I'm not saying he's going to win,
right?
But to have him in there, that would make sense. Hold on, now I gotta. Let's see.
Now that I'm thinking, they might flip the matches. They might do this to start the show, and they might do Hook at the second hour because the second hour is people going to be more tired, and Hook and Action Bronson might get. Those are my choices for first hour, second hour, for Rampage at least. I feel like maybe they should do this as a 2-day thing because I feel like this is too long. I don't know.
What?
We're just having it all taped in one show. I feel like that's too much for.
Or do we definitely know that it's not live? I could have swore it was live.
No, it's taped. It's on there. If you go to tickets, it's one ticket for one night.
Oh, geez. Okay, Oh, that'd be terrible. I made my back hurt.
I mean, pay-per-views are that long. Like pay-per-views are 4 hours long too. But true. I mean, the gates open at 7, so I don't know if that means the show starts at 7 and they have some opening matches or.
I bet you it just starts at 8 because when I went, gates opened at 6.
Oh, okay.
So I remember I was stressing out because I couldn't find a place to park.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh no, I'm gonna miss the start." Like,
no. Show starts at 7. Gates open 5:30.
Oh well,
I was wrong.
They are doing.
They might do a dark or something, and they're not gonna do both of them, but they might do dark before.
So wait, what time does the show start?
It says gates open 5:30, and then the time of the show on the website is 7 p.m.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because gates opened at 6, and they gave us time to like buy merch and stuff. So if gates are opening at 5:30, that gives an extra half hour for like the extra people.
And it's a big building. It's a big
place.
Yeah.
So that okay, but still, dude, that's so long.
So, I know pay-per-views are that long, so like I mean, but pay-per-views sometimes the crowd even dies out. I mean, at All Out, the crowd was kind of, if it wasn't CM Punk, I think in the main event, I think the crowd would have been more quiet than they were.
True.
But AEW puts on good shows, so maybe they'll keep them involved. So who's your pick? My pick's Miro. Who's yours?
I'm just, like, I'm literally going through the roster in my head to see like who else could be in it that's like worthy. If it's not on any of these shows either, like that's the other thing. Like,
they're not gonna like double book somebody,
right?
And the only person who's really like out with an injury is Adam Cole, and I don't think it's gonna be Adam Cole. So,
like I'm going back and I'm trying to like look for names.
It won't happen, but can you imagine if it was like they just brought Kenny Omega? He's not suspended. He's in this match. Like it won't happen, but that would be fun.
Oh, it'd be amazing. Jeez.
I think it kind of could be anyone because I think they're not going to win. and I think it could be a chance to like when Brody King won the Royal Rampage match that they had. Like he wasn't going to win the title, but it was a way to promote him and push him a bit. So maybe it'll be like QT Marshall.
Well, hold on. I'm looking at just so I don't get this wrong here. You know what? Since I'm gonna go bold. I'm gonna say Ethan Page wins it.
Okay, yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Ethan Page wins it. I'm gonna write that down because
that sounds good. I'd be down with that.
Because I agree with what you said. Like the person's obviously not gonna win the title, but you give somebody a good rub.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it. It's gonna be a good show.
It's gonna be a wonderful show. It's I mean, it's going to be nonstop. I mean, it's 4 hours, but I mean, every belt's on the line.
Yeah, it's basically except the trios titles. Yeah.
Oh, Road to this week is going to slam.
Yeah, it's going to be good. This is a big week. I mean, it's a big week even without all the stuff that happened outside of the ring. It would be a big week, but with everything that's happened, this is a chance for AEW to, get a lot more people interested, get a lot more people watching, showcase a lot of new talent. It's going to be good.
It's going to be very good. Do you have anything to add before we call it a day?
I don't think so. I'm excited for the week. I think it's going to be good shows. I know we spent a lot of time talking about the crowd and how they're going to be tired, but I think that's a legitimate fact. That's a legitimate thing to deal with.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean the shows aren't going to be good. I feel like they may not get the crowd reaction that they deserve if they're on this long of a show. But hey, it's going to be a hot crowd because it's New York. It's a big stadium, so it'll be good.
And the AEW crowd in general is usually pretty good.
Right, for sure.
But yeah, this week is nuts.